Hi there everyone. Welcome to a new session in Vidwath Academics. I'm your math tutor Devika. In this session, we shall be discussing a concept from class 10 mathematics called Introduction to Trigonometry. Before we understand the meaning of trigonometry, let us take into account a few situations. I will put forth a few questions to you and you tell me if you will be able to answer these questions. If you have visited the Taj Mahal, I am sure you would have been mesmerized by its beauty. Let's say you're standing at this point on the ground near the Taj Mahal. And while you're standing there admiring the beauty of Taj Mahal, a curious question comes to your mind. You start to wonder what the height of the top of the dome of the Taj Mahal is from the ground. Now that you are curious, you would want to find the answer, but a guide is nowhere to be seen. So how can you calculate the height of the top of the dome from the ground? Because you're standing at this point on the ground, your distance from the center of the base of the Taj Mahal can easily be found. That is, from your position to the center of the base of the Taj Mahal can be measured, and in this case we have found it to be 100 feet. Now clearly you have been looking at the top of the dome of the Taj Mahal at an angle. That angle in this case is 79.9 degrees. Having these two information at hand, do you think it is possible for you to calculate this height? Do you think that is possible? Well, it is possible. It is possible by making use of trigonometry. What is trigonometry? Let us not yet go into the definition. I have another situation for you. Now you see a lighthouse here. A friend of ours, John, is standing at the top of the lighthouse and he is observing all the boats that pass by near him. He sees that a boat is standing still in the sea. Now he is curious to find the distance of this lighthouse from the boat. He wants to know at what distance the boat is present from the lighthouse. Do you think he can calculate that? Do you think it is possible for him to take a measuring tape and find the distance between the lighthouse and the boat? That is not feasible, isn't it? But if he knows the height of the lighthouse, now do you think it is possible to find the distance between the lighthouse and the boat? Well, it is possible. Since John is looking at the boat at a certain angle, let's say an angle theta, and since he knows the height of the lighthouse, the distance of the boat from the lighthouse can be found. That is quite interesting, isn't it? Now we can find the distance between the lighthouse and the boat here by making use of the concept of trigonometry again. In all these situations given above, the distances or the heights can be found by using some mathematical techniques which come under a branch of mathematics called trigonometry. So now we have seen that trigonometry is that interesting branch in mathematics that makes us easily find the unknowns in such situations. So now let us see what is the meaning of trigonometry. Trigonometry is the study of the relationships between the sides and angles of a triangle. A triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles. Trigonometry is nothing but the study of the relationship between these angles and the sides. In fact, in the word trigonometry, tri means 3, gon means sides, and metry means measurement. By making use of the measurements of the 3 sides of the triangles, we can frame the relationship between the angles and the sides of a triangle. To understand this better, to understand the relationship that we will be framing between the sides and the angles, we need to know a few terminologies. What are those terminologies? Let me first consider triangle ABC. This triangle ABC is a right-angled triangle. It is right-angled at B. Then we know that the side opposite to the right angle is the hypotenuse in a right-angled triangle. Angle A and angle C are clearly acute angles. That is, these two angles have their value to be less than 90 degrees. It is impossible for the angles other than the right angle in a right angle triangle to be more than 90 degrees. Wonder why? Well, for you to have a right angle in a right angle triangle, two sides of it must be perpendicular to each other. That is, now a 90-degree angle is formed here. Let me call this vertex as vertex B. Now, to take the third side into consideration, I can check if the angle that is formed with one of these sides and the third side is greater than 90 degree, or if it even can be equal to 90 degrees. What if I take the third side in such a manner that an angle of 90 degrees is formed along with this base side? Here, when 90-degree angle is formed, this is not at all a polygon, this is not a closed shape. So, there is no question of a triangle being formed here. Hence, for us to have a triangle, the third side would have to be drawn like this, in which case the angles formed is clearly acute angles. Similarly, in this case, we see that angle A and angle C are acute angles. These angles have values less than 90 degrees. Now, corresponding to our angle A, we see that a side is opposite to angle A. This side, in this case, BC, is the side opposite to angle A. Now, we have the hypotenuse. We have a side that is opposite to angle A. The other remaining side will be the side adjacent to angle A. Remember, in this case, we are talking about the sides corresponding to the angle A. Similarly, if I consider a right angle triangle ABC having the right angle at B, then angle C is also an acute angle. Now, corresponding to angle C, the side opposite to angle C will be side opposite to angle C itself, and the side that is adjacent to angle C, that is, out of the three sides in the triangle, we already have the hypotenuse and the side opposite to angle C. The remaining third side will be the side adjacent to angle C. Therefore, whenever we are defining opposite sides and adjacent sides, we are defining these sides with respect to the angle in consideration. When we have angle A in consideration, BC would be our opposite side, while when we have angle C in consideration, we have BC as an adjacent side. Hence, opposite sides and adjacent sides are defined with respect to the angles in the triangle. This is very important. I hope this is clear. Now, based on this, we shall define the relationship between the sides of a triangle and the angles of a triangle. These relationships are given to us in terms of ratios. Hence, we call them as trigonometric ratios. Now, what are these ratios? Let us look into that. I am considering a triangle ABC where angle B is 90 degrees. So, ABC is a right angle triangle, right angled at B. Then, angle A and angle C are both acute angles. With respect to angle A, we have BC as the side opposite to angle A and AB as the side adjacent to angle A. Since AC is opposite to angle B, AC will be our hypotenuse. I hope these terminologies are clear to you. Now we shall define a few ratios. The very first ratio that we will be defining is the sine of angle A. The ratio that we are defining is called as the sine, S-I-N-E. Sine of angle A is given to us by the ratio of the opposite side to angle A and the hypotenuse. That is, the side opposite to angle A in this case is BC and the hypotenuse here is AC. If I take the ratio of these two sides, that is BC by AC, then this ratio gives us the sine of angle A. Next, we can define the cosine of angle A. Cosine of angle A is also a ratio given to us by the side adjacent to angle A divided by the hypotenuse. In this case, the side adjacent to angle A is AB and the hypotenuse is AC. So, AB by AC is a ratio which gives us the cosine of angle A. Similarly, we define the tangent of angle A, which is a ratio given to us by side opposite to angle A divided by side adjacent to angle A. Here the side opposite to angle A is BC and the side adjacent to angle A is AB. So, BC by AB is the ratio that gives us the tangent of angle A. Remember, BC, AC, AB, all of these will have numerical values because all of these represent the lengths of these sides. So, sine, cosine and tangent of angle A here in consideration is nothing but the ratio of the lengths of the sides of this right angled triangle. Similarly, I can define few more ratios. I'll define the cosecant of angle A. Cosecant of angle A is the ratio of the hypotenuse to the side opposite to angle A. Here the hypotenuse is AC and the side opposite to angle A is BC. So, AC by BC will give us the cosecant of angle A. As you had previously seen, the sine of angle A is nothing but the side opposite to angle A divided by the hypotenuse. That is, we had the sine of angle A given to us by BC by AC. So, on comparison of the sine of this angle A with the cosecant of angle A, we see that the ratios are nothing but reciprocals. Therefore, sine of angle A and cosecant of angle A are related to each other by cosecant of angle A is nothing but 1 over sine of angle A. That is, if you know the sine of angle B, if you know the sine of angle A, then by just taking the reciprocal, we get the cosecant of angle A. Next, we can define secant of angle A, which is ratio given to us by hypotenuse by side adjacent to angle A. Here the hypotenuse is AC, side adjacent to angle A is AB. Therefore, the ratio AC by AB gives us secant of angle A. Clearly, we see that the secant of angle A is nothing but 1 over cosine of angle A, because we are seeing that the cosine of angle A is nothing but side adjacent to angle A divided by hypotenuse, which is nothing but the reciprocal of secant of angle A. Finally, we define the ratio cotangent of angle A, which is given to us by side adjacent to angle A divided by side opposite to angle A. Here, the side adjacent to angle A is AB, side opposite to angle A is BC. So, AB by BC will give us cotangent of angle A. Therefore, I can form the relationship between the cotangent of angle A and the tangent of angle A as cotangent of angle A is nothing but 1 over tangent of angle A. Hence, we see that sine of A, which can be read as sine A, cosine of angle A, which can be read as cos A or cos of angle A, and tangent of angle A can be read as tan of angle A. Cosecant of angle A can be read as cosec of angle A. Secant of angle A can be written as sec of angle A. And cotangent of angle A can be written as cot of angle A. So, sine of angle A and cosecant of angle A can be related as cosecant A is equal to 1 by sine A. And obviously, sine A is also equal to 1 by cosecant A. Similarly, cos A is equal to 1 by secant A, or secant A is equal to 1 by cos A. Tan A is equal to 1 by cot A. Also, cot A is equal to 1 by tan A. I hope this is clear, students. Now, from the definition of the sine and cosine of an angle, we can come to a note. That is, since the hypotenuse is the longest side in a right triangle, the value of sine A or cos A is always less than 1, or in particular equal to 1. We know that the sine of an angle A is given to us by the side opposite to angle A divided by the hypotenuse. Similarly, the cosine of an angle A is given to us by the side adjacent to angle A divided by the hypotenuse. In a right-angled triangle, the hypotenuse, that is AC, is always the longest side. This is the property of a right-angled triangle. Here, sine A, that is opposite by hypotenuse, will be nothing but BC by AC. In this case, cos A, which is adjacent by hypotenuse, will be nothing but AB by AC. Since AC is the longest side, clearly we have BC is less than AC. Also, AB is less than AC. That is, in both these ratios, the denominators are greater than the numerators. We know that when the denominator of a ratio is greater than the numerator, then the value of the ratio will always be less than 1. For example, if you consider the ratio 1 by 2, here the denominator is greater than the numerator, that is 2 is obviously greater than 1. Then the value of this ratio, which we know is equal to 0.5. This is clearly less than 1. I hope this is clear. In a particular case, that is when BC is equal to AC, we get sine of A is equal to 1. Also, when AB is equal to AC, we get cos of A to be equal to 1. I hope this is clear. Now, we see that the values of the trigonometric ratios of an angle do not vary with the lengths of the sides of the triangle if the angle remains the same. But how do we check this? Here, we are going to check if the value of the trigonometric ratios of an angle change when the angles remain the same in a triangle, but when the lengths of the sides of the triangles vary. To check this, I am going to consider 3 triangles here. Where are these 3 triangles? The 3 triangles in consideration are triangle AMP, triangle ABC, and finally the triangle ANQ. In triangle AMP, we see that it is a right-angled triangle with a right angle at M. In the triangle ABC, we see that it is also a right-angled triangle, right-angled at B. In the triangle ANQ, we see that that is also a right-angled triangle with a right angle at N. In all these 3 triangles, we see that the angle A remains the same. That is, the value of angle A is unchanged for all these 3 triangles. Now, for these 3 individual triangles, I will define the set of ratios, the set of trigonometric ratios. Let me first define the sine of angle A for the first triangle AMP. Then we know that sine A is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse. In this case, the opposite side is PM. The hypotenuse is given to us by AP. We have PM by AP as sine A. In the triangle ABC, we have sine of angle A as opposite, that is BC by hypotenuse, which is AC. So we have BC by AC. Finally, in the triangle ANQ, we have sine of angle A to be equal to opposite, which is QN, divided by the hypotenuse, which is AQ. Now we see that LHS of all these 3 equations is the same, that is Sine A is the same. So I can write PM by AP is equal to BC by AC, which is equal to QN by AQ. Clearly, these three set of ratios are equal to each other, even though the lengths PM, AP, BC, AC, QN, AQ are all different from each other. Even though the lengths vary, since the angle A here has the same value, we see that the trigonometric ratio, that is sine of our angle A, is the same. Therefore, sine of angle A does not vary with the lengths of the sides of the triangle, provided the angle remains the same. Hence, we have seen that this above statement is true. I hope this is clear. Now that is it for today's session. I hope you have understood about trigonometry and trigonometric ratios. In the following sessions, we shall solve a number of problems by making use of the trigonometric ratios. So until next time, for more such content, subscribe to our Vidwath app. You can also follow us at all the social media platforms. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep studying and enjoy math. Remember to be the best, choose Vidwath.